Hi, and welcome to College Planning Untangled, where we help simplify the college planning process. I'm here with Bobby Hood, and I'm Kristin Clark. Bobby, how are you doing today?
Just great. It's a little rainy outside, so a good day to sit inside and do a
Get
little
stuff
weekend
done,
relaxing.
right?
Yeah, get some
Yeah,
stuff done. Absolutely.
good. Today we're talking about another topic that could be fairly controversial,
Huh.
and that is an A in a regular class better or worse than a B in an honors class? And
Yeah.
I want to invite people that are watching to go ahead and chime in on this because, people I know are going to have different opinions on this. And,
Hmm.
I'll, share before we got on, Bobby and I shared our own opinions on this with each
Right.
other, and they happened to coincide. So it was
Right.
a good conversation, but, not everybody may agree with us. And I would love the banter.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, chime in if you're watching it. This is definitely a hard question because it is very true that colleges do evaluate strength of course load, difficulty of course loads, strength of schedule, as they call it, right? So it's definitely true that if you could look forward into the future and know how you were going to do in classes, what you in a perfect world, you would take the hardest classes that you can get an A in all the way through, right? That's number one. And so the question is, how do you figure out how do you keep yourself from going and getting B's and C's and things, right?
Right, and I think that the other, piece of this, Bobby, to me is what else does your kid have going on outside of school
Mhm.
extracurriculars that could affect how much time they have to work on AP? There's a lot of factors.
Mhm.
So I think this is also people have to remember this is a family decision.
Mhm.
It is a kid by kid decision,
Mhm.
based on a lot of information that's coming in the door. But
Yeah.
let's go to the basic facts and kind of
Mhm.
what we're thinking.
Yeah, I mean, so the basic thing is, I mean, the number one most important factors in college admissions are GPA and SAT and SAT score. That's half your application or more, right? Maybe even 60, 70% of your ranking when they're deciding to admit it's GPA and your test scores. And if you go test optional, then it's just GPA is like 70% of the thing. And then all the rest, recommendation letters, uh, activities, involvement, honors, awards, essays, all of that is like 30%, right? And so strength of schedule is part of that 30%, right? So the answer is always it's better to get an A than it is to get a B, is at least my understanding. What are your thoughts?
That's I can tell you prior to doing this work and
Mhm.
having conversations in the neighborhood about, oh gosh, do we do AP classes or I'm sorry, honors classes or a regular class? I can tell you where we ended up, Bobby,
Mhm.
is you know what? Go for the A.
Yeah.
Go for the regular class, get the A. And
Mhm.
part of it was too, weighing those things out that we talked about. What else are they doing? Do they have a chance of getting the A?
Mhm.
I'm always for pushing a kid, right? And
Yeah,
if they've got
absolutely.
the ability, man, go for it. But I hear and heard of all these kids taking, multiple
Mhm.
honors classes and just not having fun in school and really
Right.
having to just struggle. And I was like, my gosh, there is something about living life as well.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Um, so this is why it becomes a little touchy, right?
Okay, right. And so this is another important point, which is okay, if you're trying to go to Harvard or Stanford or Princeton or someplace like that, right? Then you absolutely very likely need to take the hardest course load that is offered at your school and you need to get a near perfect score in every single class, right? But if you're outside of that ultra elite situation, uh it's probably not that big a deal. It's just go get a good GPA, be successful, right? And this also ties into the idea that, like, you know, if a perfect college application transcript would have A's all the way through. But if you were going to have some B's, you want them to be freshman year in the first year, and then you fix it and you get all A's after, right? What you don't want is you start getting some B's and C's junior and senior year. A downward trend is very bad because that shows that you're not prepared for college level coursework, right? And so one answer to this is, ninth grade or 10th grade, the first time an AP class is offered, if it's offered, for you and you think you're ready to do it, do one, right? And if you do very well in that, you can handle that, then do two the next year or whatever, right? Don't necessarily try to do every single AP class offered unless you are, tracking yourself for trying to be able to apply for Harvard or Stanford or something like that, right? The other thing too is there's communication here, which is like, if you get into a class, like if you're 2 weeks into a class and you suddenly discover, hey, I'm not hacking it here, you go talk to the teacher, right? And you say, hey, maybe after the first test or whatever, right? And you say, hey, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull off an A in this class. And the teacher will probably be realistic with you about that and say, hey, I think maybe you ought to switch out into the regular class, right? And you can still do that and you can switch and you'll still be fine in the regular class and go switch, right?
Oh my gosh, Bobby,
have that conversation.
Are you advocating for actually talking to your teacher?
Exactly, right? Well, see, that's the thing too. If you go to a teacher, there's another option, which is the teacher says, oh, wait, no, actually, I've seen some potential in you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to help you and come in and we'll get you to that A if you'll do this work. And I mean, I tell you, if you tell a teacher at the very beginning, hey, I really like a class, but I'm not sure I can hack it. That teacher's probably, they want people who like their class in there and they might be willing to help you. And they're going to show you how to get an A in their class. They're going to, provide you with additional help outside of class. Teachers are generally very happy to do that.
Absolutely.
Right? And so
you're adding another
conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
And you're adding another factor, in this, and I'm going to throw one more in. That'll just completely muck all this up as well. And that is dual credit.
Right.
And, that you can go to your community college, get dual credit, get a taste for what college is all about. And I got to tell you, again, in the neighborhood, conversations, that's where we all went. We're like, man, if you can get credit for college and you can show that you can do college level courses and, it counts as your schoolwork at high school, why would you not do that?
Oh, this is a huge thing, which is, okay, one thing, one of the reasons to take AP classes is that you hope you're going to get a 4 or a 5 on the AP test, which you must do for it to be relevant to a college. If you don't take the AP test or you don't get a 4 or 5, then the college will disregard it as an AP class. They'll count it as a regular class. And if you get that 4 or 5, many colleges will give you college credit when you enter. I was able to enter with 14 hours of credit from my AP classes.
Which is huge.
And saves a bunch of money and all of that and lets you have lighter course loads and all that. But if you take dual credit classes, those also give you college credit without having to take the AP test. And a lot of dual credit classes, you take that college class and it just comes in as a pass-fail to your high school GPA. They don't always give you a grade, so you need to look into that. But in that case, you can take them without risking messing up your GPA and you get college credit, and colleges automatically count that as strength of schedule because the whole point is AP classes are like college level coursework.
Right.
So doing well in AP classes indicates that you are ready to do college level work. So if you go take dual credit classes, automatically you pass them, you are ready to do college level coursework. So that is a great way to do this. It counts as strength of schedule. It may not mess your GPA up or maybe less of a risk if it's pass fail. It's great all around, and it gets you off on a college campus a little bit, and you get to go check out a college campus, which is more feeling like how to figure out how to choose a college, right?
Yeah,
so
well, Bob,
really a great option.
Yeah, I think that our answer is there, and where our heads are.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing for parents is the point of this is do not automatically just go and sign your kid up for every single AP class or whatever, because you can suddenly find yourself in junior year, you're super busy with activities or sports or your job or whatever, and then it's just too much to do all at once. So be careful about it and think about it. That's it.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Bobby, and we will see you next week.
Excellent.